Gout treatment has recently changed, and I'm tired of it being mishandled in the clinic. And this came into sharp focus for me last week, where again, a patient, their gout treatment plan was just completely wrong. So here's how to actually treat gout, prevent it without the pain or without following a restrictive diet. So gout happens when a thing called urate in the blood, or uric acid, reaches a point of 0.36 in the blood. When that happens, the gout crystals can actually form in the joints. So it moves from the bloodstream into the joint. And then when that happens, if something triggers inflammation, it's almost like a bomb that's there in the joints. And then that bomb can trigger that inflammation, and that is a gout attack. So the next question is, what actually causes uric acid levels to go up in the blood? So uric acid is caused from the breakdown of purine. So anything that we eat has got DNA, and when that DNA is broken down, it releases a lot of purine, because purine is one of the building blocks of DNA, and that is what raises uric acid levels. So there are specific foods that can cause uric acid levels to go up because they're high in purine. So this is things like organ meats or shellfish. Even beer can actually make it go really, really high. Now, here's where it's actually changed in terms of the management plan. So previously, doctors like me, we would have a set guideline in the blood that we want to get those levels below 0.36 in the blood, because if we did that, then we could prevent gout from happening. Now, there are a couple of different ways to do this. Yes, we could try and get a person onto a restrictive diet, but realistically, that hasn't actually been that effective. For some patients, it is, but for a lot of them, it's not. So what we did is we used a medication instead called allopurinol. That's the most common one that we use. So allopurinol, it tells the kidneys to pee out uric acid. So it can lower the levels, and that's how we can reduce the chances of these gout crystals forming in the joints. But this has changed massively recently with the advent of GLP-1 medications like Ozempic. So if we can reduce the amount of purine that a person is eating, again, reduce the amount of essentially food that they're eating, we can reduce the amount of uric acid in the blood. So the patient that I saw the other week, they were on a GLP-1 medication, and they had been on a GLP-1 medication for about the past year, and they were seeing awesome results. They were lowering their weight, and then I was looking through their blood over the past year, and I saw their uric acid levels dropping and dropping and dropping. Now, that's obviously great, but their allopurinol dose had not changed at all. And that annoyed me, because this may sound strange coming from a doctor, but I'm of the opinion that the less medicine, in terms of the less drugs, the better, as in we should only be putting patients onto medications when they truly, genuinely need it. So this person's urate level, it was about 0.12 from memory, which is very, very low, and they were still on an allopurinol dose of 600 milligrams, which again just annoys me, because this person is on medications when they don't need to be. And the reason why their urate dropped in the blood was because they were eating less food because of the GLP-1 medications. And again, that's all wonderful. So what we should have done is we should have reduced the dose of the allopurinol, because we want their levels in the blood to be just under 0.36. So their level at 0.12 was just way, way too low. And again, we're just over medicating this person. So here's what's actually changed in terms of gout management. Yes, some patients respond really, really well to a restrictive diet, but for a lot of patients, that particular diet doesn't work, because they want to have their organ meats, they want to have their shellfish, they want to have the occasional beer, and that's fine. Our job is to try and figure out ways to help those patients, no matter what lifestyle choices they choose. So again, we used to just treat with allopurinol, but now with the advent of GLP-1 medications, that to me has actually started to supersede what we do with allopurinol, because with a lot of patients, when we get them onto GLP-1 therapies, we can lower their weight and lower their uric acid levels just through that weight loss effect. Now, again, if that's still not enough, then yes, allopurinol does have a role to play. But here's the critical point when starting these medications or making any sort of change, because when you initiate treatment, that can actually trigger a gout attack. So let me explain this. If you've already got gout crystals in your joints, when you start lowering your uric acid levels, some of those gout crystals they get pulled out of the joint and then back into the bloodstream, where they can be flushed away from the kidneys. Now, during that process, you've got a massive flux of urate going across the joint membrane. Now, it's that movement across the joint membrane that can often trigger attacks. So this is why, again, coming back to diets, if you suddenly have a lot of shellfish and beer, you move a lot of that uric acid from the bloodstream into the joint, and it's that movement across the joint membrane that is what triggers the gout attack. So it's the same going the other way. If you are pulling a lot of the urate crystals out of the joint because you've lowered the blood urate levels, a lot of it, you're going to have a lot of movement across that joint membrane, and that in itself can trigger the gout attack. So what we typically do is that, again, if we need to start the allopurinol, we start at low doses, typically about 100 milligrams, and we do that for 4 weeks. But what we also want to do is introduce an anti-inflammatory as well to reduce the chances of that gout attack from happening. So what I typically do in the clinic is that I add in low dose colchicine. So it's about 500 micrograms, so very, very low dose. And the idea is that as all of these urate crystals are being pulled out of the joint, you've got that colchicine that's there as an anti-inflammatory to make sure that that acute gout attack doesn't happen. And then every 4 weeks, we start to increase the allopurinol dose by about 100 milligrams until we reach until we get below that magic 0.36 level in the blood. Again, we just need to be aware of the changes in gout management now because of GLP-1 therapies and because of how much weight loss we can actually get for patients. And through that weight loss effect, and because these people are eating less food, we need to adjust the allopurinol dose. So this is how we can support patients to still have the lifestyle that they want in terms of what they want to eat, while also making sure that they don't have gout attacks either. So I wanted to make this video because I was just annoyed about how much misinformation you'll hear online about restrictive diets and people still having painful gout attacks. And it's just wholly unnecessary because we know very, very well now how to treat gout. We know how to prevent it. And one of the mainstays now, one of the changes that's happened with gout management is GLP-1 therapies. So again, I hope that it all makes sense. Let me know in the comments what you think. And the disclaimer that I should have mentioned near the start of the video, yes, I'm a physician, but I'm not your physician. So before you make any changes to your gout management plan or anything about your health plan, make sure to discuss with your doctor first.